Most people think that staging is just putting nice furniture in a house. It's not. Staging is the difference between a buyer walking in and thinking, this is a nice place, and a buyer walking in and thinking, I need to live here. One gets you an offer, the other gets you an even better offer. Today, I'm sitting here with Dana, the designer, a stager, and real estate agent on the Ihara team. And we're right now inside a staged condo in one of our luxury listings here in Kaka'ako. So thank you, Dana, for joining the podcast.
It's my first podcast.
Yeah, welcome on. Welcome on. We're glad to have you here. And so if you're new here, this podcast, what we do is we want to pull back the curtain on what actually happens when you sell a home. The real stuff, not just the Pinterest version. And today we're sitting in a one-bed condo, a smaller space, but a beautiful ocean view, and it's fully staged. And my guest is the person who understands this better than anyone I know. Dana wore 3 hats. She was an interior designer, a professional stager, and now a real estate agent. She's staged homes from $300,000 condos to over $20 million luxury real estate. So no one better to talk to than Dana.
Hi.
Let's clear up the biggest misconception first. Most people think that staging is just nice furniture. What is it actually?
Well, part of it is actually nice furniture. That is true. We do bring in all kinds of furniture, and we have a warehouse full of it. But really, for me and for my team, we really see it as being part of that home journey process and being able to show people what they could do with a space, how it could feel if they actually live here, and just be part of that whole imagination and like exactly how it feels when you're in a home.
Yeah, talk about that feeling, right? Because it's not just the stuff that's in it, but you're actually looking to create a feeling in that buyer.
Yeah. And, I'm really excited about homes in general. Like I loved my home growing up, and that has so many good memories for me happen in the home that when we're thinking of how we're going to lay out furniture, the way we stage it is also like not the way that I would recommend someone to live necessarily. In this unit is pretty much how I would recommend someone to live. But if they have a bigger family or things like that, you can easily put in a whole modular sofa and you can have more seating space. But part of the feeling that I want to help people have more access to, because I think that people want to be moved by space. People want to feel welcome. People want to feel a certain kind of way when they're in a space. And I feel like staging really helps with that. It helps you either feel calm or realize how much space, and you can feel more open. It really kind of touches on all of those things.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, right? Making a buyer feel like they want to live here. They want to make this place their own, right? Mm-hmm. Your staging helps create that environment and that feeling in these buyers.
It's actually also for us, like not just about wanting them to make this their home, but really I think it's important that anybody who walks in, that they feel like if I live here, this is what my life will look like. This is what my life will feel like. This is how I will feel when I'm home. And I'm always thinking about how can we best create what that feeling could be for anybody who wants to move into a property.
Awesome. So walk us through that. Why does an empty home fail? And why does a home that's still full of the seller's stuff fail just as hard?
I think it's hard, especially when there's this owner's items still in the property. It doesn't allow the buyer to feel like it's theirs. And it doesn't allow them the experience of coming into the space that, we'll put like cups out or like a little flower arrangement out, and it'll just feel like, oh yeah, I left my coffee on the table, and when I walked back in, it was nicely placed sitting there for me. When we have owner's items, and I think that some owner's items are great, and so I wouldn't always say to completely take everything out, but really kind of changing the energy of the home, that everything's not placed exactly where it was, really helps with the whole like movement and flexibility of the space. Does that make sense?
It does. That does.
Yeah.
Now, how about on the other side, when a home is just empty, right?
Yeah. So for a unit like this, if it was completely empty, you couldn't tell how much space is in here. And also based on like the square footage, you would think like, oh, how am I going to live in a tiny little studio sized condo, even though it's a 1 bedroom? And really what we were able to do is show people like, hey, that this space could be used in so many different ways, that you could put there, wow, look, a dining table and 4 chairs fit in this unit. I would have never thought that could fit here. Or I didn't know that, like, yeah, you could tell, wow, I could put a modular sofa. Even though we have this smaller sofa here, you can really tell like, oh, my sofa at home is like just a little bit bigger, and yeah, that would fit here. And I would actually feel like this when I sit here. So I think being vacant, especially in a smaller space, because people normally think that it looks bigger empty, but it's actually the opposite. When you're actually able to put the right size furniture in a space, it actually looks and feels bigger, because then people have an easier time imagining like what it will look like. Because if it's vacant, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to bring a sofa in and it's going to take up like half the living room, when really it doesn't.
Yeah, and there's a stat that says that 80% of buyers, they can't imagine themselves what to do with the space.
Mm-hmm.
But your staging does a great job of giving them flexibility on, hey, I could fit a bigger sofa, or maybe, hey, I could fit another sofa over there if I wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. It gives them a good starting point for them to imagine how they want to live.
And also like bedrooms are another place where we always use bedrooms too. Like, can you tell, like they'll ask like, oh, is that a full size bed? Like, oh no, it's actually a queen. Like, oh wow, I can fit like a queen size bed in this bedroom. Like that gives them the idea of like they have something at home, or they have an idea of how they want to live, and that it would actually fit.
So there could be 2 staging jobs for the same unit, right? The same square footage, but one feels open and airy and one feels cramped and small. How do you know how to make it feel and create a feeling that the buyers will actually want to be here?
I'm not really sure how I know. There's this weird thing that happens that when things are placed exactly how I'd want it, or things are in a certain angle, it just has like a feeling for me. And so I really kind of base it on that. We do obviously take measurements, and we have a whole layout, and we prep the furniture based on size, and all of that goes into factors. But we also bring a few extra items, because if it doesn't quite play well together, then we make the change. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that does. Because, that kind of eludes us, right? If I'm someone who's looking to sell, like, hey, maybe I probably can't stage it on my own, and I need an expert like you to come in and look at the space, take the measurements, and, pick from your hundreds and hundreds of different pieces and real furniture and quality furniture, and know exactly where to put each thing, and have the flexibility even to bring extra. And hey, maybe this doesn't meet exactly what I want, I have another option.
Yeah. And I think like a lot of furniture, the way that you feel is actually very similar to like how you feel about people. Like when we're like setting up a room, for example, I like to place the bed where it's facing you. So it might not be the wall that you would actually choose if you want to have a TV and this and that. It might not be the perfect wall, but we always want to make sure that like when you walk in through the door, the first thing is that like if you were to walk through the door and then somebody has like, hey, hi, how are you? Like, come inside. It feels different than being greeted like, hey, hi, how are you? Like with your face to the door. So a lot of the things that we place is with the face facing where the entryway. So like a lot of thought goes into like how you walk through the house and how a buyer will walk through the house. And it really is to like place the bed so that you're greeted by the pillows, or you're walking into a living room and then you're greeted by the sofa, right? So just like here, you're not necessarily coming in. The first thing you see is actually this living room sofa. And that's on purpose. That's to like say like, hey, we'll welcome you. Come sit on me, or come lay down over here. It really is to like, we're always thinking about how buyers and people are going to walk through a space and really trying to create a space that makes them feel the most welcome. So instead of walking into the side of a bed or you're walking directly into something, really trying to create that openness that, yes, we're welcoming you into this place.
Yeah, I love that. And for anyone listening on just audio, come to YouTube and watch Dana make these gestures so you can see what she's doing.
I know. We may have to revise it and edit it because I think I'm pretty animated and I can hear my mic making all kinds of noises. But
I think the question a lot of people have is, Why does staging never have a TV?
You know, I think that staging never has a TV. There are people actually who stage with TVs, but the reason why we don't stage with TVs is because I think life is more beautiful, like just as this is. Like, I will always suggest where a TV can go because that is a question that comes up a lot. Like, oh man, if I sit here, where's my TV gonna go? It's like, you don't need a TV. You're going to be looking at the surf and you're going to be out in the world. You're going to be wanting to enjoy your space. You're going to be reading a book maybe. And so I think also that a TV just aesthetically is like a black hole. And it's like much nicer to look at. Like, for example, this is a local artist. Her name is Adrienne Mizuera. I can give you the exact spelling, but she's incredible. And she paints and does local art. So to me, instead of looking at a black hole, it's better to see some kind of art where we can celebrate the people and the creators and the artists of our community. So yeah, that's why I don't stage with TVs.
Yeah, I love that. I love showing, especially the local artists. I love that you want to highlight them as well.
Yeah, they're a big part of why I think homes here in Hawaii feel different. Is that it's a lot to do with not only the people, but the people who take the time to create things and are creative and are able to build items. Like this chair is a chair that I got from Fish Cake in Kaka'ako, and it's actually a vintage chair. And, the owner, Mara, she went out and she sourced it and then put it in her store, and there's always like really good stories for everything that we have, and it's all really just a celebration of the people. And like I think every time we put things into a home, it really has like an energy to it, and that's like I think what I really want to showcase is like how you feel. And I think all of the little things in our lives and the things that we keep around us, the people we keep around us, all have an impact on how we feel.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that a lot. Every home has a, significant selling point or main value. Mm-hmm. How do you make sure that the staging can kind of highlight that and bring that out for the buyers?
It's all about like placement. And so because I always think about the way that someone is going to walk through the property, I always try to keep that path very clear. And so it's like even on the lanai, right? So the chairs are slightly more to the left so that we can make sure that there is a path that based on the way that the door opens, that side of the lanai will have access, and then it's placed so that you don't walk straight through. You actually go around and you get to experience that there is more to a lanai than just going straight out. And then you're actually like welcome to like either sit or stand and be in that space.
Wow, even to the little details like that.
You're
thinking about those things, right? Even these little, decorations on the table, in the kitchen, in the bathroom.
Yeah.
To the little details.
Yeah. Every single thing that we choose is specific to that house. So we do have a warehouse of thousands of items like we talked about, but every time our team comes in, they walk the property or I'm walking the property, and we're choosing that based on that exact spot. So we're like, our little checklists are like to the left of the sink, to the right of the sink, right? Like in the corner, right? Like what is on the coffee table. And every single item is handpicked and chosen and then installed and then also packed up and taken back home later. But every single item is chosen specific for that particular listing.
Yeah, that's what I really like about you guys, because I always would tell you, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you just move staging from one house to the next house? You would save so much money, and you're
like,
it's not about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's staging is not a very good like business model because there's such a high overhead cost, and if you want to do a really good job, it takes a lot of time. But I feel like people, when they're selling their home, it's like one of the biggest investments that they've ever made. And if I'm asked to come into a space and do the best we can, like I cannot feel good about just taking something out of this condo. Like if we were to take it out of this condo and then put it into a 3-bedroom house, this sofa is going to be way too small, right? And it's like, yeah, it is like furniture that can fill a space, but it's not doing it justice. And it really is about, for us, creating the most value in the service that we provide.
Yeah, and I think the question that every seller has is, hey, Dana, if we have a 3-bedroom house and we only stage half of the home, is it going to be half the cost?
Yeah. We're actually asked that a lot too. And the truth is that it doesn't quite work out like that because of the way our systems are and the detail that we put into everything that we do, that in order to set up one bedroom, we're already still going to have staff for 2 days prior to pack and choose and do the measurements and make sure everything's to scale. We're also still bringing in a team of at least 4 guys to help move everything. That 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms, not doing those 2 maybe saves a few hours. And in the overall presentation, that's not really creating the most value for you.
Yeah, and you already have the same set hard costs of the movers and all the staff and all the people and the time.
Yeah.
So
it's better to just do it right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% agree. I think the hardest hitting question, Dana, is staging worth it? If I'm a seller, should I spend the money and should I stage my home?
I think it really depends. I do believe that if we are chosen and we do come in, that everybody on my team is going to do their best to make sure that it's presented in all of its glory. But staging is expensive, and it really comes down to your ability, and actually it also the property, right? Of maybe you're going to be selling for less than you bought it. And so you don't actually have any more funds to pay for it. And in that case, we'll do our best to sell it without it being staged. But we have found that the properties that are staged, even if they're staged by other stagers, we've actually come in after them too, that they sell quicker and faster, right? And they spend less days in the market. And those are 3 ways of saying the same thing. But it's also but it also sells for more. And, there's a reason why there's such a demand. And there are statistics out there that show that your house will sell for more and faster if you stage your property.
Yeah, we just had a listing in the Waikele where the seller hired another agent. They were on the market for a year. That didn't work out. They couldn't sell it. They hired us. We brought you in to stage it. Boom, right off the bat, we got an offer.
Yeah. We've actually had that happen a few times. And I think the staging community here in Hawaii is great. Now, all of the people that are in the scene and all of the other stagers all have a very similar ethos to them. And so I think choosing to stage is important, and it's proven to be very successful for our clients.
Yeah. I think for me, when I'm selling a home, the pictures come out so much nicer too.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially now that everybody looks at properties online, and the way that we receive information is different. But there is something about coming into the house that when you finally do your walkthrough and you're coming through, you're like, wow, it actually looks just like the pictures too. It doesn't just look that way in the pictures. We get that a lot, that, oh my gosh, it does look exactly like you thought. Nobody's catfishing here. We're definitely looking, we want to present it exactly how it is.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they want to just virtually stage it because it's, much, much cheaper.
Yeah.
But then sometimes when a buyer sees it online and they come into the house, it's kind of a letdown. It doesn't look like this.
Yeah. Right? We always want to exceed the expectations, right? We always want people to experience it and do better. And the one part of it really is, for furniture placement is one thing, but also you miss all of those, the energy of all the things too.
Yeah.
So then the feeling and the vibe is different.
Something too that I just want to share that I really enjoy about you is the detail of even the chopping the pillows. I love. Can you show everyone?
I don't know how to chop a pillow good. You have to make sure that when you chop it, it doesn't look too pointy. I would say that's the biggest thing about chopping the pillows. I'm not really sure when that started, but it's because in order to chop a pillow, it has to have good feather inside of it. Because if it's just a cotton, not all of them chop. So when you chop the pillow, you're saying this, I'm bougie. I got some feather in me.
Yeah, it's so funny. I just remember coming to the listings and you're just chopping all the pillows. And I'm like, what are you doing? And it looks so much better. Even a small detail like that, I really appreciate, and that's why we love working with you. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else that you want the listeners to take out of this conversation?
I think I would want people to know that any recommendations that when you invite me into your home, that it really is just to help you sell your property for more. there's a little bit of like, oh, I'm sorry it's like this, or oh, like I'm saying that something's wrong. And really the way that we're doing it, even if it's as beautiful, and I've been to homes that are beautifully set up, that really though my job is to come in and shake that feeling up, to make it feel like it's ready for someone new. And part of that is, if you're going to be owner occupied, especially, right, that you start feeling like this is not your home. And when that feeling kicks in, that's actually like my job, because then that means that someone else that's coming in, they're going to feel like it's their home. And so I think I would want people to know that staging really is meant as a tool to help you get the most amount for your property. And that when we come in to do that, it has nothing to do about how you live is right or wrong, right? It's a more the change of the energy and really wanting it to start to feel like it's open for someone else to come in.
Yeah, that's such a good point, right? Because there's a lot of people that are living in their properties and trying to sell it. The buyer comes in and they like, oh, it's their property.
Yeah.
They need to be feel open so that a buyer coming in could think, oh, this is my property.
Yeah. I want them to feel like, oh, that's my stuff. And if I bought a house like this is exactly like the way I would want to do it. This is like,
So many times, when you're selling a property, they're like, can I buy all this furniture and leave it like this?
Yeah, that's actually happened for us a lot, that we've sold it to the clients, because they're like, it comes with a lot of sourcing and back end things for us. But like when people are that excited about what we've done and about their house, like it's hard to say no to that. I definitely want to be a yes.
Well, thank you, Dana, for joining us.
We out. Thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, if you enjoyed what you heard, and you want to bring in Dana because you're thinking about selling, hit up Redesign Hawaii. She's the best stager out there. She would do a very good job, and we can definitely vouch she's done hundreds of our homes. So, and now she's a part of our team on the Ihara team, and who can help sell your home as well, right? So if you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to listen to more episodes, and reach out to us on our website, just reach out to us on YouTube or Spotify, whatever you're listening to, and we can help. Alrighty,
talk to you soon.